Some great accommodations that tend to help kids with brain tumors, kids, struggling maybe with some delays, cognitive or motor planning. So a really good one is extra time on tests, right? Because if, anxiety sets in a lot with kids, and if they know that they have extra time allotted, it's really kind of calms them a little bit and makes them feel more comfortable during an exam. Another thing that Kyle used to get a lot was preferential seating in a classroom. So, you want your teacher to be on your side. You want your teacher to know everything about your child, right? That's the closest thing to you during the 6 hour school day. So Kyle's teachers would always kind of sit him in a spot where they could keep an eye on him a little bit and they could make sure that, he wasn't getting tired or falling asleep and that maybe he was the first one to get the test when it was handed out. And then when he was really young, maybe in the primary grades, having less problems or questions on the test was very helpful. So if he would look at a page with maybe four math problems instead of 20, it was so much easier for him to be successful on the four questions instead of looking at 20. And believe it or not, a lot of his teachers gave him homework that was constructed the same way. Because if he came home with 20 questions on a math sheet, that was meltdown. But if it had four questions, and even if there were maybe 2 pages or 3 pages, somehow it wasn't as challenging. So asking the teachers for whether it be larger font. Some of our kids have, sight related issues, whether it be more time on tests, whether it be if your child is eligible for having an aide, maybe who's with them in the classroom. The aide can help with note taking or review sheets for tests. So depending on the age that they are, my feeling is the more accommodations, the better. We want to set them up for success. And the more accommodations that they have, the better. And I will say that in school today, your child is not going to stand out as being different. There are so many kids with so many different accommodations, whether it's medical, whether it's physical, whether it's behavioral, whatever it is, the classroom is made up of so many different needs that asking for these accommodations is really the best defense or the best help that you can give your child. Once your child has a service such as OT twice a week, um, the hope is that you do not want to give up that service, right? So every 6 months, you're going to come to the committee. And I can't remember if it's every 6 months or every year. And they're going to look at the reports that the OT, the PT, the speech therapist, right, have presented. And they're going to try to possibly decrease the services. Oh, he's doing great with his handwriting. I think we can go down to once a week, right? Special education services cost the school district money. The committee wants to save the school district money. They want to do right by your child, but ultimately they want to save the school district money. So my advice is that once you have a service, try your absolute hardest not to lose that service. You don't want to go from 2 times a week to 1 time a week if possible. So there's a lot of things that you can talk about to try to ensure that that doesn't happen. Number one is regression. So whether it be summer, Christmas vacation, a week off for, whatever holiday it might be, Easter and Passover, spring break, you're always going to mention how hard it is for your child to get back into the groove and how you've noticed that that's a struggle for them and that they're anxious about it and that maybe their grades drop a little or that you're seeing some anxiety at home. And so you're afraid that if you drop down to once a week for whatever service it might be, that this might happen. And so if it's OT, bring a handwriting sample. If it's a speech therapy, bring a report from the speech therapist or have the speech therapist ready to talk about that. Once you get the services, try to hold on to them as much as possible. There's also a lot of psychologist related services that kids qualify for, such as social counseling. When they're young, they might call it lunch bunch, which is really like a social circle of, playing games with other friends or having their lunch with other friends. Those services are really, really important, and ones that I always try to hold on to. And all you have to talk about to keep those is that anxiety piece. That, oh gosh, he comes home and he loves meeting with so and so, and I'd hate for him to to lose that. Or, oh my gosh, he looks forward to that lunch bunch every Wednesday. Those are the only friends he has. Please don't take that group away. And so if you say things positively, and you do it more that you're advocating than you're fighting for services, hopefully the committee will side with you and your child will be able to keep those services.